Hi, class. Hello, AP Psych. So I apologize in advance when you hear Mickey Mouse in the background and my son screaming. Like I said, Mickey Mouse is my co-teacher for the day. So, all right, we're going to continue to talk about the brain. So we're going to focus some time on how the brain pretty much like repairs itself. So plasticity is the brain's ability to change across one's life or mend itself after damage by developing new or alternative neural pathways from existing neurons. So while several neurons do not reconnect, and can result in permanent loss of features or movement, the brain can adapt. So the brain can, in circumstances, reorganize its tissue in response to damage by redirecting or training new neurons to maintain the path. So neural damage, sorry guys, in the brain that causes loss or inhibited use of limbs can reprogram to work properly after long time use. So recent research has shown that the brain can slowly create small amounts of new neurons. I think the process is adaptly named neurogenesis. As an adaptation to the loss of sight or hearing, blind and deaf people can sometimes have enhanced touch or peripheral vision. So, you know, they, I'm sure you've heard, and I think we talked about in class, that folks that are blind happen to have very good hearing. So it's not that, oh, I lost my sight, now I have superhuman powers of hearing. It's that your body is kind of compensating for the fact that you're not using energy to see that your body can now transfer that energies to something that you can use, like hearing something. So it's the limited bytes of information that the brain has the capacity to use can now focus somewhere else. Okay, memory or energy was used to perceive the millions of bytes of visual information. Now you're using that to hear or touch. So they cannot hear or feel things others are not able to do. So their brains are reprogrammed to focus on different sensory features with more focus and detail. Another example, someone loses their left arm in an accident, their right arm likely um, would likely better be able to interpret the sensation of touch with increased bytes availability because your body is not using its left side, right? Its left arm. So the bytes of information no longer used on the lost limb patients, they have uses and the bytes applied to an adjacent part of the body. So basically, it's your body adapting to something that's no longer used into something that it can use. Genetic and environmental factors on behavior. All right, class. So we know that there are two themes of this class. Nobody knows anything, especially Mrs. Perez. Just kidding, only slightly. And the other is it all boils down to genetics. That's we is who we is, right? So while the valuable values, beliefs, techniques, and skills of a person can be greatly impacted by their upbringing, right? That nurture who you are, your personality, your character, your interests, your temperament is largely genetic. Adoption studies have confirmed that despite not even their knowing biological parents, the personality of children tends to reflect biological parents rather than adopted parents. So there's the identical twin study that shows that demonstrate large similarities in personality as opposed to fraternal twins who exhibit behavior differences at the same rate of non-twin siblings. So just a reminder, so we discussed this in class, but just I think it's important here with the understanding of genetics. Um, a fraternal, or excuse me, an identical twin, the twins come from one egg and one sperm, right? They're in that one egg, one sperm. That's identical. Fraternal are two different eggs and the two different sperm. So that's important in terms of genetics and looking at personality. So if you are fraternal twins, it's as if you're just siblings, where identical twins are twins that share that DNA. If you haven't had the chance, and I know you have lots of time on your hands, um, there is a documentary. It's on Hulu. I don't know where else you could find it, called Identical Strangers, and it's about triplets that were separated at birth for a science experiment, basically. And what was fascinating, or the whole thing is fascinating, but the two two of the brothers met each other at a college, and it wasn't like it was Yale or NYU or, Queens College. It wasn't like a big name. It was like the small community college upstate. So it was interesting to see the personalities of who they were and what they liked was so innate within them. It didn't have to do with how they grew up. So do yourselves a favor, check that one out if you have a chance. It's really interesting. I think we saw a little bit of like an interview with them in class in the beginning of the year. All right, I'm gonna have to figure this up. Okay, so biologically, hormones play a significant role in behavior, particularly the sex hormones, testosterone and the estrogen. And Brain Pop did a really good job, I think, of explaining. All right, sorry about that. Jack I don't know what he's crying about. I had to change the channel. All right, so in terms of like sex drive, males are motivated to have high quantity, right? Crudely speaking, spread their seed, right? Where females are looking for a high quality person because they're there to match that one individual, and so that's why they're looking more at a quality choice. Okay. All right, finally, environment. Genes play a role in determining both behavior and physical attributes by activating and deactivating certain clusters in a genetic cluster within our DNA called alleles. So this is the natural process. However, the environment can impact the actual genes and DNA of an organism, particularly during gestation. This is known as interaction. This was probably the most stressful portion of my pregnancy. So what they're talking about here is that what the mother does, what she eats, what she's exposed to, how she what her life is like, can impact the development, I guess I could say that, of the gene, and I was about to say mutated. That's not correct, but it could be manipulated. For example, if someone is pregnant and they are under right now, I mean, a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety. That stress and anxiety can impact the fetus, which would then change almost like their DNA, and that person may be more neurotic and anxious than their family members were, and it's caused by that anxiety felt for the mother felt during the gestation period. So factors such as stress, diet, and drugs and chemicals can act as activators or deactivators and change a gene, and that's known as epigenetics. So stress and other environmental features can interact, cause methyl molecules to bind to the DNA, turning certain parts on or off. So the environment can impact the gene by turning certain alleles on or off and change gene expression. So, that was something I thought about a lot during your pregnancy. It's like so much of what you do and what you're experiencing can impact your child that's not even born, right? So epigenetics can also cause certain types of cancer by halting the alleles that limit cell production, resulting in the overproduction. All right, class, that wraps up How We Think, Notebook page 7. So Unit 2 is our theme for this week, the week of April 6th. So this week, again, there will be an FRQ posted for you, and then an optional multiple choice. It's only optional if you did not do the first one, right? So if you completed Unit 1 multiple choice, you're happy with that grade, don't have to take the one posted for this Friday. If you took the multiple choice already, unhappy with the grade, you retake it. If you get a higher score, that will replace Unit 1's exam. And if you did not take Unit 1's exam, please take Unit 2's exam, and then that will be the grade that counts. All right, hope everyone is well.